Welcome to our podcast, Inspiring Living, with me, Mark Candelaria. I am an architect, blogger, traveler, chef, father, and husband. I am the founder and now a partner of a fabulous 20-person architecture firm specializing in high-end residential architecture, designing amazing homes across the country. Over the last 20 years, we have hosted tours to Italy, Spain, and soon the Oregon wine country. And in the course of all this, I have met a lot of interesting people who truly inspire me. Our podcast is about all the opportunities that are right there in front of us to inspire living. Yes, we will talk about architecture and design, but every week we will venture into all sorts of topics that will inspire you, teach you, and motivate you to inspire living every day. My guests will include a wide gamut of amazing people, from those in the design industry to clients to real estate professionals, chefs, artists, sports figures, and philanthropists, and people who just flat out get it. Sit back and enjoy, and let's have some fun exploring all the opportunities that are just waiting for us. Please subscribe and get ready to be inspired every week. Okay, as my dad says, here we go. Welcome, everyone, and thank you always for tuning into our podcast. I hope everyone's 2022 is off to a great start. This month is just flying by, that is for sure. I have a really fun podcast with three very special people in my life and my career. Today, I welcome three amazing Phoenix Home & Garden Magazine Masters of the Southwest. Today, I have Walter Spitz of Creative Designs and Lighting, Donna Vallone of Vallone Design, and the newest Master of the Southwest, who was just inducted a couple weeks ago, landscape designer Jeff Berghoff. All I can say is we went deep, and this is likely to be my longest podcast yet, but it's a good one, and you will want to tune in, as there's a few announcements being made that you will not want to miss. So sit back and get ready for this, which is sure to be a podcast classic. Meanwhile, a couple quick announcements. Our Candelaria Design Oregon wine tour is sold out, and now our June Spain tour is sold out, and I believe our September Italy tour is right there also, so it's filling up quickly. Obviously, everyone is definitely ready to travel, so thank you for the interest in getting on board. One other quick announcement, we're going to be dedicating the Habitat for Humanity 3D printed house that Candelaria designed. And it's this week that we'll be doing the dedication, and I'm very, very excited and very proud and honored to be a part of this first in America, first permitted and soon to be inhabited 3D printed house. So big day coming up, and I'm really, really excited about what's in store with that technology. Other than that, we have just been working night and day on some amazing projects across the country. I want to send a thank you to our team for their hard work and dedication to all these projects. You guys are rocking it, and we cannot wait to share these magnificent creations with all of you. Okay, let's get to this podcast. It is definitely a special one, and once again, congrats to my good friend, Jeff Berghoff. Here we go. Okay, I am so excited about today's podcast, as I have three Phoenix Home & Garden Masters of the Southwest with me. Add me to that list, and we have four masters in the house today, including a new 2022 addition to that esteemed list, Mr. Jeff Berghoff. Then add to the fact that we have all been collaborating and working together for at least 30 years, if not more, and so many marquee projects on that resume, including but not limited to the El Charro Lodge, which we were talking about earlier. Today I have lighting guru, my good friend, and the best man at my wedding to Isabel, Mr. Walter Spitz.
Thank you.
Of Creative Designs and Lighting. We have interior designer extraordinaire, Donna Vallone of Vallone Design. Hello, Donna.
Hi.
And finally, the newest master of the Southwest, Jeff Berghoff of Berghoff Design Group.
Thank you, Mark. That was a nice introduction.
Right?
Thank you.
Welcome, everyone, and thanks for making the time to do this podcast with me. We're here in the Candelaria Design Demonstration Kitchen. We've had maybe one or two glasses of wine and or cocktails or whatever, and some great empanadas and some great chicken curry lollipops, and we're having some fun, right? How nice is it just to get together with the four of us?
I love the time.
Without a client, without a meeting, just hanging out, right?
As Donna said, just
like
relax.
Family.
Just relax.
It's been really wonderful to catch up. I mean, especially with COVID. I see all you guys on Zoom, but to see you in person has been great.
Yeah, we scheduled this for 6 o'clock. It's already 7:30, and we're just getting started. So I think we had a lot of catching up to do, right?
We've had such good times.
A lot of good times, yes. So now Jeff and Walter have both done podcasts with me, which were great. And I invite you to go back and listen to them because they're fantastic and very well received. But Donna, I understand this is your first podcast ever?
Ever.
Ever?
Yes,
Do you
yes,
listen
yes.
to podcasts?
No,
No?
never.
You
I
listen-
can hardly keep up with my emails. I mean, I'm just not
Oh, we
into
should talk about
social
that.
media. I'm sorry, I'm old, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy you're here because I know I had to do a little
I am
coaxing to
happy.
get you here,
I
but
know,
you're here
I
and
know,
you're having
I
fun,
know.
right?
I'm having a great time.
Good.
I
good,
love all
good.
of you guys.
We feel the same. Okay, we all go back. I am trying to remember the very first project we ever worked on together. Now, Walter, you and I for sure know it was a house in Paradise Valley
Yeah,
I-
on Paradise
on
Mansion
Paradise Mansion Drive.
for David Eaton.
David and Carol Eaton, right?
It was a story to remember.
Yeah, great project, right?
I made it through the project. You made it through the project. The builder didn't make it through the project.
Right. Yeah. Well, I've had a few of those over my career, but we still got to the finish line. Took a little effort, but
Yeah.
we got there, and that was a great house. It was with I'm trying to remember who the designer was on that one when we first did it. It was May. What was her name? She was with Warner's. May Brunken.
May Brunken.
Boom. See, my memory's still pretty darn good.
That's good.
May
Surprised you
Brunken.
could
She lives in
remember
L.A. We're still friends on social media, so I'm sorry, May. It took me a little while for the brain to catch up, but it's still there. So
Interestingly, I did that house 3 times over.
yeah, right.
Yes.
And it's still a great house,
a
and
great
you'll probably do
house.
it 3 or 4 more times over.
Amazing.
Don't you wish you were a realtor though, and you could have sold it 3 or 4 times over?
Yes, I do.
John.
We were talking about that, right? Okay, and then Donna, what was the first project you and I worked on
I think
together?
Shadow Mountain.
Shadow Mountain.
And George was the
You're talking about the original
main
Jackie
archi-
Dorrance house.
Jackie Dorrance
Oh
house.
yeah.
On
The
Shadow
original one on
Mountain,
Shadow Mountain,
uh-huh.
which Walter and I are working
In
on
the
again.
I think that was
throes
the
of
first
doing it
one.
again.
I think
Yeah.
it probably was. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was.
Dan
And
Finch
you were
Construction.
with
Yep.
George
Yep.
and Christensen.
Yep.
And
Joe Groff.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
And we were
He
working.
was,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Yeah, that
And,
probably was the first
yeah.
project.
I believe it was Dick Winter was the project
Yeah,
manager.
and
Yes,
Dan Finch.
Oh, boy.
And Jenny Finch and
Yep.
Dan Finch.
Dan Finch. I was trying to remember his name. Yeah. But, yeah.
Well, we're working on it again. That house is built like a bomb shelter, by the way. I mean, it is like, whew, heavy
Yeah.
duty, right?
Yeah.
You can't move 6 feet without running into steel and concrete.
And then Jeff, what about you and I?
You know, I was thinking about this.
I
Was
think
we
it was
were
with-
doing a project in Mountain Shadows East. It was a small home, and you were at CCBG. And at the time I met you, I was working at Landscaping by Andre.
Oh, yeah.
So it was that was in the early '90s.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm trying to think of the client's name, but
Wasn't the McGuire sisters, the McGuire house?
Which is
Might
down
have
from.
been.
it might have been because now Donna lives in that neighborhood, and we did your home.
Mhm.
So it was just to the west of you.
Well, and then before that, I worked with George with you a little bit on the Sperling residence
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
in
Yes.
Arcadia.
Yes.
That was John's.
John's house.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And
Yeah. So that's when when George went on his own.
Yep.
You were working with George, still
Li-
helping him a
A
little,
little bit.
Right.
Yep.
So
And-
that was in '97. That was
Yep.
actually later, but yes.
Right.
So that
And that was my big
for
commission.
construction.
No, it was Bryce Foley was the
Bryce
builder.
Foley.
Forsini was doing Peter's home
Yeah.
Got it.
down the street.
I think I was actually working on Peter's home.
Okay.
So
That was earlier.
that was
That
earlier.
was before. That's right. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. See, we got all these memories locked in. So
lot of
anyway, so
people.
Jeff, congrats on being named a Master of the Southwest by Phoenix Home and Garden Magazine. It's like when I read that, I go, "What? He's not. He hasn't been named a master yet. What the? How'd they miss you, Jeff?"
You know,
I felt the same way.
Right.
Like,
I feel like Tom Cruise getting not winning an Oscar. It only took me 30 years, but I'm an overnight success, they say.
Well, we are so happy for you, and all I
I'm
can
truly
say,
privileged.
It's
great.
definitely
It's a really
overdue.
wonderful honor
Yeah,
to be a
it's
master.
awesome, and that feature was really nice. Thank you for all the
Yes.
great Candelaria photos in there.
Oh,
by
you're
the way.
welcome. You know,
And-
Nora did a beautiful job, and I'm truly touched because in many ways it was like a walk down memory lane. I talked about George,
Yeah.
Nancy Kitchell, my first office at Nancy's building, and it was just I mean, I get choked up because I had my wife. The magazine came to our house, and
Yeah.
I hadn't seen it. And my wife read the magazine to me.
Oh, that's
And
great.
I actually, it was a beautiful, beautiful story. Nora captured it
did.
wonderfully. So I was truly honored, truly
was-
honored.
yeah.
And John and Brett and the editor and the publisher have done a really wonderful job this year with the Masters. And I want to thank them. It's been a true honor.
Yeah. I mean, we've all had great experience with Phoenix Home and Garden magazine over the years, haven't we?
No, I felt the same way when they called me and Linda, who was
Barkman.
Yeah, when I was nominated in 2011.
11. Okay.
Yeah.
And what were you,
And
Walter?
I felt
I
the
don't
same
remember
way.
the year. It was
just-
seems like a long time ago.
Yeah,
So-
what year? I mean,
Wally,
it
they have a
was
classification
movie.
for you. It's called Grandmaster.
Yeah.
I was 2005, and so I'm coming up on my 20-year anniversary of it.
Wow.
And I've been working John Rourke for someone to be the master in 2005, so I can kind of. So I'm not going to say much more than that, but I've got a little game plan for 2025.
Oh, I was
25.
going to
25.
say.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. But I think it could be really cool. So,
Mhm.
so yeah. So it's great to be amongst amazing people. First of all, you guys have probably more than anybody had the most impact on my professional life in terms of what I've learned from all of our collaborations and the project we've done together. I mean, when we worked on Eaton, I was, let's see, that was 87, so I was 27 years old. Okay, I had as much hair as you at that point in my life, Walter. So, you know, and I learned a lot from you. I've learned so much from you, Donna, working on projects with you, and Jeff, same thing.
Thank
You know, and it's just been great to, first of all, just maintain the connection. I mean, we all know how hard these projects are and how many things go right and how many things go wrong. And over the course of all that, we've maintained this great friendship, relationship, and respect for each other, which I just think is amazing. Right? Am I the only one that feels that way?
No,
it's
we all
about a
feel
mutual
that
respect.
way, and
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I feel the same way for sure. So let's go back real quick and have each of you give a real quick recap of how you got started. I want to start with you first, Donna. How did you get started?
I have to go back to, I think the seed was planted. The seed was planted when I was a little kid.
Okay.
I lived in a rural farming community in Pennsylvania,
See, I didn't know this.
York County, and it was next to Lancaster County, and so we had a lot of the Amish influence, which was plain. And so, but my mother, I think, was the one where I realized that you can be different, think out of the box, and be really cool and still be accepted in the neighborhood. Because all of the other homes in our farming community were more like the old Ethan Allen kind of American,
Yep.
whatever. But in our house, we had what would today be called a mid-century sectional in black fabric with Lurex silver and gold threads,
Wow.
with a huge round ottoman at the end, and a floor lamp. This is what I remember as a kid, that you could turn the base on, and it had a square lampshade. Anyway, it was really cool stuff, and I thought, wow, no one else that lives around us has this. And it planted a seed that said, not only did I love the design, but also you can be different and cool.
Right.
So that was the beginning. And then, so we moved to Arizona. Again, my parents were like out of the box. My dad was one of 11, and all of his siblings lived in this little rural farming community. But we moved to Arizona, which was very hip. I went to Camelback High.
Wow.
I'm not going to tell you the year I graduated. And then on to ASU. And in the dark ages, when I went there, girls, I would say 90% of the girls, were either teachers or nurses. So
Right.
I said, okay, I'll be a teacher. So I was for a few years elementary ed, bachelor's degree in elementary ed. And then I went back and got a master's in special ed and taught older kids at a private psychiatric hospital.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But my passion...
Literally, I guess, right?
My passion... Well, it helped me with clients
Right.
later on, having all the
Yeah,
psychology.
that's what I always
and
say. Yeah, exactly.
except that our patients were on pills, but that's another thing. But anyway, back to but my minor was home furnishings, and I always had a love for it. And I think it's, was the seed that my mother planted years ago. So I went back to SCC, never finished, started working for a neighbor who had a contract studio at Scottsdale and Shea. And I would always tell the people, our office was located between an electrician and a vasectomy center at
Great
Scottsdale
combo.
and Shea, and that little center there. Contract studios. She did finishes for contractors, and then we moved into Old Town on First Avenue. It was a cottage built in the 1920s called, and she named it Craig Studios, and we started doing residential. She moved to Santa Fe, and 2 designers and myself started Berkeley House. We moved in next to Nancy Kitchell on Indian School and 60th, where that.
Yep.
And we had Berkeley House for all the years that I was raising my kids. Now, my neighbor was Ann Gale.
Right.
We lived on Exeter in Arcadia, and she lived across the street, and she kept saying, come to Wiseman and Gale, and I never did until I had to in 91 because I wanted to have a stable job. And so I was there from 91 to 2001.
Wow.
Left there and started Vallone Design, and here I am.
2001.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm sorry. I hope it wasn't too
No,
boring,
that
but
was
that's it.
excellent. I wanted to hear that story because I known bits and pieces of that
Yeah.
story, but it was really great to hear the whole
But
story.
I have, I'm so passionate about what I do, and I think it really started when I was a kid. And
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, you're an amazing talent. I
Yeah.
mean, of anyone I've worked with over the years, you have the eye for exquisite beauty, balance, sophistication, I think is the number one word I associate with you. Everything that you do is always so sophisticated. It just has this beautiful yet comfortable feeling to it. And so I just love that. It's your personality. I mean, when I meet you, you are the most sophisticated lady, right, guys?
100%.
Yeah,
Classic.
but
Classic.
underlying
But
that
I
is
eat at
just-
Taco Bell.
yeah,
Right.
but you're easy to be with. You're fun to be with, and I feel totally relaxed with you.
Yeah.
But there's even just sitting here looking at you right now, there's this beautiful elegance about you, and that's whenever I think of Donna Vallone, that's what I think of.
Thank you.
Right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love working with you, Donna.
You make us all look amazing. That's what's so
And you
great
take the
about
stress
it.
off.
And I love you.
You
Yeah,
cut the edge.
it's great. So okay, Walter, you're next, buddy.
Started my career as a kid. I was probably about 13, 14 years old. My sister took me to do community theater. My first play I remember working with was called Hello, Dolly. And I was a volunteer person in the lighting division at a place called Phoenix Little Theater, which is on the corner of Central and McDowell.
Yep.
And I got addicted to the high of when the curtain opened and the audience was in the crowd, that all of a sudden the performers, the dancers, the entertainers became alive, and the stage manager would call the cues. And my first real job in the theater, which was a non-paying job, was to pull the curtain open and pull the curtain for intermission and pull the curtain for the curtain call. And then from there...
You still kind of do that with the light switch.
I do that with a light switch. There you go. From there, as I made it through high school, doing all the high school theater for Scottsdale High and West High School, Central High School, I managed to get up to Banff, Canada. I spent about 6 to 9 months up in Banff and got hitched up doing rock and roll and ballet. The Royal Winnipeg Ballet taught me how to light for dance and how to create an environment in shadow. And that led to tours with other touring companies, from Supertramp to God knows what. And it was a time of life that it was just a party. I did what I did because I enjoyed the cast parties, the after-hour parties. Came back to Phoenix about 1977, 78, coming off the road, and I needed a job. I needed to create money, and the disco era was at its peak. So at that time, I had an introduction to somebody that owned a nightclub on 20th Street in Camelback, Town and Country, and I did that club. It turned out to be super successful, super hot, and I created a business for the next 2 to 5 years doing disco after disco after disco, straight bars, gay bars. I was all over the country. I was working in California doing discotheques. And one day while I was working in one of the local nightclub discotheques here, a gentleman walked up to me and said, "Hey, I'm building a house on Ray and Kyrene," which at that time was nowhere. And it was a gentleman by the name of Conley Wolfswinkel who gave me an opportunity, who introduced me to Charlie Keating, who introduced me to all the players in town. And eventually I started a business doing just residential lighting design. Fast track, here we are, 45 years later, have a firm that has done projects all over the country. And we work from David Copperfield's to you name it.
Yeah.
I've had the pleasure to have had people on my list to call up, from Kendra Scott to whoever. And the industry that we're in is moving at such a fast pace that it wasn't, do they need to hire a lighting designer? It's more like we need to hire a lighting professional because it's become complicated.
Yeah. Well, the products have just changed so much just in the course of the last year. I mean, it's just, you can't keep up with it. I can't keep up with it. That's why I've got you.
Well, I would love to say I learned a lot watching Jeff's work. I have to tell you, create the shadow, create the effect. It's not just about lighting the property. It's about creating the romance.
Right, right. That's a good segue. So, Jeff, let's talk about your career. Where in the hell did you come from?
You know, I was mowing lawns as a 12-year-old, and I'm still mowing lawns.
There you go. You never got out of it.
I haven't gotten out of it. I was. It was a. You know, you can read the article in Phoenix Home and Garden.
It's all there.
It's all there. It's. You know, I started. I didn't really have an art background, and I wasn't really interested in design until I was in college. And I was actually. I'm an Arizona native. I went to ASU, and it was a spring break. We were in California, and I saw all this cool architecture, and I was totally smitten. And I really wanted to. I came out of that saying I need to become an architect. Like, I don't know what it was in me. This drive, this passion. It like clicked. It literally was a light bulb that flashed. And I came home and I said to my parents, "I'm going to be an architect. I'm going to change my major." Didn't know what I was doing. And I remember, and this is a great story, the first semester as an architect, you go in and they give you the class syllabus, and they give you all this stuff for, it was a lecture studio course, and they give you a list of stuff you're going to need. And I literally had a credit card and went over to the art store across the campus, and I said to the guy, "I don't know what all this is, but I need it all." Yeah. And it's on the syllabus, so give it to me. And it was like $500, $499, something like that. And I remember doing my project, and I'm like, I cannot do this project. And it was this weird, you had to draft this A, and it was impossible. Like, they want to weed everybody out, so it's a very hard drafting assignment. And I never had drafted, and I'm like, if this is what an architect is, I can't do it. But I just
to get into the school.
Yeah, just to get into the school. And I kept just ripping up the pages and doing it over and doing it over and doing it over until I had something I could turn in. And I remember saying to myself, if I quit, my dad is going to freak out because he's going to get this bill on the MasterCard bill, and he's going to shoot me. So I can't change. I have no choice. I got to go through. I got to push through.
You have to succeed.
I have to succeed. And I remember walking the halls of ASU and seeing like the class ahead of us, and they would post up all the work, and I'd go down to the basement where they would post all the work, and I'd go, I cannot do this next semester. And the next thing I knew, I was in next semester, and I was doing the work, and I just kept working. And to this day, I kid you not, I think I work harder than anybody else. I mean, I just put my head down and I go.
Yeah,
and
get it done.
And I think God has blessed me to make this all happen, and I work hard, and I pick things up, and I keep working hard, and I keep honing that skill. And so So here I am. I'm mowing lawns. We do that, and I'm proud to say it.
So you never graduated.
Don't you think
No.
that-
I'm constantly learning, but I graduated from ASU. Sorry, to finish the story.
Yep.
There's a time where you have to submit your portfolio.
Yep.
And Reed Kroloff pulled me aside and he goes, Berghoff, you're not going to be an architect. And I go, what do you mean I'm not going to be an architect? And he said, you really need to go in the School of Planning, which is all in the same college, College of Architecture and Environmental Design at the time at ASU. And he goes, you don't want to be designing stairway details at some architecture firm in the back room. You need to be doing planning and architecture, landscape architecture. You think as a landscape architect, everything you do is from studying the site and how you approach the building, not
The building itself.
the building itself. And I left his office so pissed off. I was so angry, and I'm like, who does he think he is?
Who
Who does
guy?
the
He doesn't know
dean
me.
think he is telling me I'm not going to be an
doesn't know me.
architect? And so I submitted 2 portfolios. I was instantly accepted into the School of Planning and Landscape Architecture, and I decided to go that route. And I think he was right. All these years later,
We know he was right.
Reed Kroloff had the vision
Absolutely.
and knew what I needed to do.
Yep.
And even at the time, Bruce Kimball was one of my professors, and he seconded Reed's what he was telling me and said, yeah, Jeff, you need to go into landscape architecture. And I think through that program, I really did hone my skills, but I've always approached things from an architect's perspective, I think. And I think that's why you and I
That's
see
why we
eye to
get along
eye.
so
I think
well.
Don
Because
and
I love planning. That was my original
think
major
so.
was
Was
going to
it?
be planning.
Really?
Yeah, I wanted to
Yeah.
do planning. You see my drawings of cities and
Yes,
stuff?
yes.
I love planning.
Yeah.
So I think that's
And-
why
But
we,
also Jeff's input when we're in even the home design.
yeah,
I love it because I think he has the vision for it.
yeah.
Well, thank
And
you.
that- I think
it
that's
it
what-
is certainly a passion of mine,
Yeah.
but I was able to hone my skills in a different way. But
Right.
yes, the architecture, I love it, and I just love being part of this industry and
Yep.
being around it and working with all you.
Well, I think
because-
that's what's
I think that's why our team works because I think that we all
you
sort of
took the words right out of my mouth.
integrate into each other's, the specialty.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and we don't
But-
care.
and we don't care
No.
if we talk about
Yeah,
your landscape or you talk about the
and
interiors.
it's only
or
you
we-
three that I really ever feel that way about. Seriously.
Yeah, really.
When Jeff interjects on something on a floor plan, I don't take it like, what the hell is the damn
Oh, no.
landscape architect
I
invading into my space? Or vice versa. I don't feel. I never feel
am
that
the
way.
Same way. Like
It's like,
I
oh, that's a great
respect-
idea, Jeff. Or I
No,
love
he
that. Let's
knows-
play it off
yeah.
this way. Then Walter
Yeah.
does the light. And it's like
Yeah.
when it's the 3 of us or the 4 of us. I mean, it is the most magical experience, and I hope it is for our clients too. I think it is, but
I think it is too.
right?
Yeah.
And we don't
Yeah.
care. Well, like I'll delve into
No.
interiors.
Yeah.
You'll delve into architecture. You'll delve into landscape. I'll say, let's move that water feature over here. Walter go, what? I could light it like this. And
Mhm.
off we go, right?
Jeff's pretty good at
I
lighting.
mean, how many times have we done that?
A lot of
Many.
times.
A lot of
yeah.
times.
Many,
Yeah.
many,
Right?
many.
So
Yeah.
from ASU, you went to, where did you go, Jeff?
So from ASU, I ended up getting, I had 2 firms courting me when I graduated, and I ended up going to work for Landscaping by Andre, and Marcus Bollinger was the principal at the time. And he was really my first real mentor.
Yep.
And he was doing a lot of Dave Hansen's work and Dominic Berta.
Yep.
And I'm sure we all collaborated
I
over
worked every
time,
one of
but
those Dominic Berta,
yeah.
Dave Hansen projects.
Dave Hansen was the desert
Amazing.
star of the time
Yeah.
in the early 90s or
Mhm.
late
Yeah.
80s and early 90s.
and
And
they
we were
didn't have
doing
the tools and the engineering that we
yeah,
have
they were
today.
phenomenal constructors. I mean, still to this day, they were one of the best builders. And I think Dave's recently passed away.
Oh, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah,
Yes.
Wow.
and Marcus was a wonderful mentor, and I learned.
Is he still with us?
I think so. I've lost touch with Marcus,
Mm-hmm.
but yes, I think he is.
Okay.
I'd like to think so.
Yep.
He's a wonderful person, and I think so many people have influenced me, all of you.
Yeah.
And I think every job I take something away from every,
Right.
and a lot of our clients, we've worked with some clients that are phenomenal designers in their own right. And,
Let's just talk about Joan Colangelo for number 1.
Exactly.
Right?
And world traveled, and I would just sponge off of Joan Colangelo. I was able to learn so much, probably more than what I was giving her in return. I
I
was
always feel
getting
that
back
way.
Yeah.
from what she would teach me about antiques
Yep.
and what she was doing with the home, and
An amazing lady.
an amazing lady. And so, yeah, a lot of our clients, we get to kind of play off of, and the project is better for it.
I think it's always great when we have projects where we're not only learning from each other, but where we're learning from the clients and their experiences, and that energy is in that realm. Those are just
Correct.
amazing projects. It's just like you walk away and go, that was incredible. Where we're not just giving, but we're collaborating and learning from the client.
Totally.
Yep. So now that's a good segue for my next question. Now, we've all worked on so many projects together over the years, and we have several going as a team right now. We got some incredible projects we're doing as a team, the four of us right now, which I'm very excited about. I mentioned El Charo earlier, but what projects come to mind for you guys when you think of projects we've collaborated on together? We've mentioned a few here just in the last couple seconds, but is there anything in particular that the four of us that comes to mind for you, Donna?
I love the Myers because I
Yes.
love the historic, 1927.
Yeah, right before the Great Depression.
I love historic projects, and
Yeah.
I thought that was just one of the best, where we had to, do the home. The architecture had to fall within the guidelines.
It was
of
historic. We had to meet the historic requirements. Yep.
And there it is.
The great Luke
But-
residence on North Central.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I love that. I think the most. We've had so many, but that stands out in my mind
Yep.
in El Choro.
In El
I think
Charo.
Clemenson, Hanley,
Yep.
going at the same time when,
The economy was horrible.
sucked. Yeah. And
How lucky
that
were
we
we?
were so lucky to have those two projects.
It was
And I
three.
have to
All
say
three.
that
All three at the same
Clemenson-
time.
Yeah.
The Clemenson project has brought me many other projects
Yeah.
because everyone loved that home.
Yep. They still love that
So,
home.
Yeah. So-
Carol had a unique quality of taste. When I first walked into the house after it was completed, and it couldn't have been 48 hours after she had moved in, every piece of art was in place. She knew exactly where every piece was going to go.
What I loved when they first called me was that she said, I don't want the traditional Southwest home. I really love East Coast.
Yeah.
And, it's amazing that everyone here really loved that. I've had probably 5 people called me and hired me
Yep.
because of the Clemensons, which has the wainscoting and
And do
the
you realize that
walnut
house, as far
floors
as I
and-
know, that house has not been published?
really.
I don't think
But
so.
Anyway, so that's been.
It's going to be in my new book, though, and you're going to all be featured. It's one of the first chapters. Actually, I think it is the first chapter in my new book coming out.
Yeah.
So
I think I've gotten more calls and work from that home than
Yeah.
any.
it's a great
Amazing.
home for sure. What about you, Wally?
Well, we are redoing a house we did together in 1992,
Yep.
and it's the first real major Doran's house I got to have an opportunity to work on Shadow Mountain.
Oh.
And it was Dan Finch Construction. It was Donna, right?
And
Yeah, she was at
Shadow
Wiseman-
Mountain,
and you were
yeah.
at Wiseman Gale still.
Yeah, at
Mhm.
Wiseman at that time.
Yep.
Mhm.
And here we are.
Working on it again.
Yes.
So that beautiful kitchen, that kitchen with all the crazy tiles, and that's all
Country
gone.
floors.
It's all
Yeah.
gone. We are doing
Mhm.
an ultra contemporary kitchen in that house now. So it's going to be very interesting to see the juxtaposition of that exterior architecture with this ultra modern kitchen
And as we said earlier,
lit by
during
Wally.
over cocktails, that house was built like a bomb shelter.
Dan Finch.
Yep.
Yeah, and Dick Winter.
Yep. Plus Dan Finch's heart. He was a great guy. We did a lot of houses with Dan Finch with George. Him and George were good buddies. So
But Dick Winter, he made me cry.
He made all of us cry.
No, he was. I'm glad because
He
were
taught me
talking
how to
about,
get tougher skin.
YPO, I remember going to hear a speaker that said, in order to grow in your personal life or growth experience, you need to do things that you fear.
yep.
And Dick Winter was like, my
Scary.
God, scary. Yeah, and I was at Wiseman and Gill at the time, and I remember he's the only job super that ever made me cry. But yeah, he was, and that house turned out to be great.
Yeah.
But the tile that you're taking off, I remember
In the kitchen.
hiring someone in L.A. to
Yep.
do this. It had the Campbell's soup thing.
Yep.
and-
Yep.
So they
Okay.
saved all the tile.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
when
did?
they took it, they've saved it all. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but they didn't throw it away. So they've
Okay.
saved it all.
Yeah.
It's all in boxes. So it's going to
Cool.
be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
So Jeff, what about you? What project comes to mind of the four of us? He's
You know,
thinking.
I think the home on Caballo. Well, sorry, I think Myers.
Myers is
I
a
think.
great house.
I mean, there's
The
to be honest, there's so
acres.
many, right?
Yeah.
And they're. It's been a privilege to work with these clients and to work on these homes, and unfortunately, not everybody gets to see these homes, and not all of them get published.
No.
And sometimes our best work is work that people won't get to see, and we get to see it, and we get to go and be there.
Yeah.
But it's
Go think of the house you and I believe you worked on it with me. Yeah, I know you did. The ambassador's house.
yes,
From
right.
India
Mhm.
that we never
Yeah.
got to see
Yeah.
or publish
Right.
or do anything with.
Great
I mean,
home.
how incredible
Yeah.
is that house?
Incredible home. Yeah, incredible home.
A
So-
lot of serious woodwork.
Yes. You know that home, huh?
We still take care of the house.
See how crazy this is? Pretty
Yeah,
weird.
there's been a lot of work over the years, and it's exciting to think of what we've been able to create together.
So now why do you think we have all been brought together so many times? Do you think sometimes it's by our choice, but many times the clients have assembled our team just looking through the publications and websites, and all of a sudden we go, oh, okay, Donna. Oh, Jeff's on this. Oh, great. Wally, this is going to be awesome.
I thought about that when I read.
It happens a lot, doesn't it?
No, but I think they see that we respect, love, and are such a good team together
Right.
that the four of us make it really work.
Yeah.
Just because there's no bone of contention, we
No.
can say whatever we want to one another.
You know what it is, I think, as I think
yeah.
about it sitting here tonight, I think when we see all of our names on the team, I think we all go, okay, this is going to be a great project.
That's a dream team,
right?
And
Don't you just
Yeah.
walk
And
away
no,
going, okay, this is going to be just an
Yeah.
amazing project that I know is going to be just fabulous
You know,
and
it's
published.
like
and
our Nani.
yeah.
I can't say the name.
Yep.
But whatever it's called, private residence. I have never, in my 40 years, been hired on the phone until he called and just said, well, I want you to do my house. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Yep.
Don't you want to come in and meet me, do this and that? But no, I'm hiring the dream team.
Yep.
I was
So that's, I think the reputation that we've built, the four of us, as people see us as like loving each other, being totally cohesive, we can say anything that we want to one another, and
Yep.
they respect that. Okay, we're challenging.
Yep.
Yeah.
I recently did a tour with some other professionals that were from out of state. They were here from a conference, and they asked to see some of my gardens. And so I took these other landscape architects through Cameldale. And that home we did 11 years ago, I think.
Yeah, about
11 or 12 years ago. That home looks it looks better because it's grown in the garden. But the home is so timeless, and what Donna you did, and what we all brought to the
Yeah.
project, it is a stunning example.
It's elegant.
It's elegant and timeless. And out of all the gardens I took people to, that was the home and the garden that they loved the most. And I think it has a soul to it. And I think in a way that's what we all bring, is we can make a dwelling a home, and we can add, in a sense, a soul. Obviously, it's the client's personality too that lends itself to that. But I think it's really unique to come to a home that people gravitate to and are moved by,
So we all do all styles of projects in both residential and commercial. I had fellow architect Eric Peterson on the podcast a few weeks ago, and I asked him this question. I'm curious as to your answers in terms of the design you prefer, traditional, modern, or transitional design? Or do you like the fact we get the opportunity to work in all styles and both residential and commercial projects? You do some great clubhouses. You've done all kinds of different things.
I love that we do everything.
Right? Do you have a particular style that you like to do? Or you like the diversity?
Not really. I love doing everything. Really.
Yeah.
I love doing it all.
Do you like the challenges of all of them?
Yep.
Yep. What about you, Wally?
My preferred really is the residential projects because I can bond with the client. I love the interaction that I get with the homeowners, as well as the ability to go back for years afterward and take care of it. And they invite me over, and we have dinner together. And the challenge with the clubhouses, whether it's a Silverleaf Clubhouse or Paris Valley Country Club, at one point, it's a committee, and we have to accommodate that committee.
It's a different approach, the whole thing.
It's a different game. The commercial is a business.
Yep.
And
It's time and money.
Yeah. But I would say that the process of working for Bill and Carol Franke was one of my favorites.
Yeah. And he's a tough guy.
Listen, I found him so easy and so approachable.
Same thing.
He is a bear.
You always know where you stand with him, period.
You do.
Yeah, we're watching the slideshow on my screen here that's going by. These guys are responding like, what the hell are you guys looking at? I turn around and goes, oh, that's the project we're just happening to be talking about at this very moment.
Yeah.
Isn't the timing? I staged all that.
Yeah.
So what about you, Jeff? What do you like to do? I mean, you've done some contemporary work. You've done some traditional work. You're known for your traditional gardens. But what...
I would agree with what Donna just said, and I'll echo it. I think sometimes when you push yourself outside of your comfort zone, that's when you grow. And I work at the pleasure of my clients, and if my clients want a traditional home, we can do that. And if they want to do something more contemporary, we can do that as well. So I try to always... My manifest is if I can just keep growing as a designer and pushing myself, that's what... excites me.
Yeah,
yes.
That's what motivates you, keeps you going.
100%.
So when you guys all said that, I was kind of thinking back to how I would look at a new job when I was 27 or 32 or whatever, when I was first starting Candelaria Design, versus how I look at a new job that comes in the door at age 62. Don't you think you look at things very differently on the problems that happen during the course of a job? I mean, I remember when I was like 32 and a problem would come, I thought it was the end of the world. I would think, I'm done. This is it.
Now, I will tell you, when my young people, colleagues, come to me and say that, I go, I can't wait to deal with this problem. Bring it on.
And they look at you
Bring it on.
They look
I
at
had
you
one
like,
of those
what?
this morning.
I want to do it. I just love that challenge. Like, there is no one that is going to intimidate me. I want to talk to them, look them in the eye. I go, you have to look them in the eye and let them know that you are in charge.
Right. This
And
isn't your first rodeo.
No. But
right?
you learn that as you
Over
age.
time. Yeah.
I mean...
It changes significantly.
And I'm happy to take all those challenges on for them, but they will have to do that someday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You learn that from tripping.
But
over
that's
your
one of
own
my
feet.
favorite things. I love
the
it.
John Saladinos, the Adam Tahanis. I used to be afraid and nervous to approach them when we were doing Hangar 1.
Yeah.
It's now a comfort zone.
No, it is.
You know,
I love it.
We've all dealt with the Mort Fleshers and the little bit more tough clients, but at the end of the day, the clients do love you because you're there for them, and you get through the process. My little rock star buddy across the table here attended a few meetings at the Wrigley's, and I'd leave the end of the meeting, and I went, "Holy moly, that could have gone so easily and so quickly sideways."
Right. Correct.
You just learn. You learn how to zig and zag based on all the experience you have. And there's so much, what I learned is just so much database that's subconscious from what you've learned that you don't even consciously use it, but it's all subconsciously being interjected, whether it's design or solving a problem. You've got that database of experience.
Correct. And it's also an experience of saying no.
Yeah.
and what not to do,
Yeah.
and who to say no to.
Yeah. I mean, I've told a couple of people this lately. I just said, I've said no more in the last 2 years than I've said yes by like 3 to 1.
Right.
Because it's just the way you could physically ever do it.
You can't do it all.
But I think that leads to one of your questions about the COVID
Yeah.
and how it's sort of amped up our business, which is kind of sad that
It took
it
that
had to happen.
It took that for
Yeah.
the awakening to happen,
but
right?
that there's so much going on that we can't even take all
No.
of the business we have.
Yeah. So
And
COVID affected the design industry tremendously. I mean, I think it was, like I said, it was the great awakening where people realized that we're stuck at home and our home is a piece of garbage. We got to do something
Mhm.
about this. Whether it's the garden, whether it's the interiors, whether it's the lighting, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it just definitely made everyone more aware of how important their home is. And it's still going. I mean, it hasn't stopped.
No.
It's not stopping.
It's not stopping. I think it's just amazing. So in terms of technology, Walter, you're seeing probably just the complete explosion in technology in your field,
It's hard to wrap your arms around it.
right?
There was a time that everything was big and clunky and heavy, and you would try to group lights with dimmers, and you were stuck with a single color. Today, you can change the color by rotating your dimmer. Today, you can...
Have they figured out how, like, if I walk in a room and my mood is a certain way, the light will adjust based on my mood? They haven't got there yet. I'm sure that's coming, though, right?
We can track you. We can have the light follow you if
Yeah.
you want. The industry for the home market is moving so rapidly, and I just had this conversation earlier with our friends over at Cyber. When a house is 20 years old, it's time. The technology has to be changed. The interesting part for the really high-end production builder, the Silverleaf boys that we all know and spend a lot of time with, is we're a little afraid to tell the client how much it's going to take to do the project. It actually takes my breath away when I have to tell somebody it's this much money to pull this look off. At the end of the day,
And that number's been going up, hasn't it?
unbelievable.
It's kind of
Inflation
scary
is-
how things have gone. Yes.
In mostly the last year.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But in my industry, you're working yourself out of a job with the new LED world. You aren't going to be sending a crew in there to change light bulbs.
No.
You aren't going to be sending a crew outside to replace landscape lighting anymore. So that part is a plus for the homeowner, and the maintenance has gone considerably down in my world of taking these houses.
why is that?
Well, because the LED bulbs are
Last-
5
Lifetime?
times.
Oh.
There is no such thing as lifetime.
No.
Eventually, they're all
but
going to
they're
go out.
like,
Right.
what?
5 times the life.
Wow.
We have to embrace the color. We have to embrace the dimming. We have to embrace the compatibility to make sure that it works and it doesn't flicker. So we all did projects that we look back that are 10 years old and we go, whew, that sure looks sexy and beautiful and dimmed quietly. And now we go into projects that we go, we hope it's going to dim. We hope the color's going to be what the
Yeah.
client wants. So
Crazy. And
it's-
then in landscape, too. I mean, the technology is really, think just about planting plants. I know there's fertigation.
Watering
there's,
systems.
Right. Yeah.
There's all
It's
it's high tech, right?
We've been doing that for a while, especially in our harsh environment, to get certain plant material to grow, the fertigation. We call it fertigation.
Fertigation, yeah.
Fertilization in the irrigation. But something that we're embracing now, and I'm crazy, I'm wondering how you guys are going to react. You're going to laugh at me. But we are now getting into the auto lawnmowers or robotic
Oh,
lawnmowers.
No.
There you go.
Yes. And so think of the Roomba
Yeah.
for the lawn.
Yep.
And as we like to say, every day is Friday. So it self-charges. It's electric. You don't have the fumes, the gas, the smell, the noise.
Right. That's nice.
It does it every night. It goes out and mows, and it
So
mows.
it knows the pattern by a computer memory.
Well, you
part?
put in a wire, and it follows, and it knows the boundaries,
Right,
and it learns.
right,
It's
right,
smart.
learns,
It
yeah.
learns every time, and the route changes, but it's cutting like 1/8 of an inch every time it mows. So the cuttings go into the ground and the nitrogen, and it helps
Replenish.
actually with the watering. It's less water, it's less nutrients. It's helping the environment. We're not having to haul these cuttings away in a big truck. To be honest, we're going to be looking at our whole fleet and how we have to mobilize because we have lawnmowers and we have to rake everything up and put them in these trucks and take them to the dump. And now, really, this is the major aha. The men, instead of pushing a lawnmower, can be trimming the roses, can be fine-tuning the horticulture, can be doing all the details that clients want.
Well,
but when you have a lawn and it takes 2 hours to mow it, they can't be doing those things as much. So the gardens will look better. The lawns will look better. Like I said, every day's Friday because everybody wants Fridays.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how many times my clients are like, well, I'll sign your proposal, but I want to be on a Friday route. It's like, there's only 52 Fridays a year. And we need, I can't service everybody on Friday. So some people have to be on Monday. But it's all about the lawn. No one cares that the shrubs aren't trimmed, but it's all about the lawn. Because come the weekend when they entertain, they don't want a shaggy-looking lawn.
Right.
In the humidity, as you guys know, like in August, and the humidity and it's growing like crazy, the lawn can look really shabby. And so anyway, we have one at the Wrigley, and they named it the Brutus. They call it Brutus. And there's a slope. Wally and I worked on this, and the Wrigley, we reimagined the whole Wrigley, and it's pretty exciting what has happened with the architecture and the new Christopher's restaurant, and this slope around the Wrigley, which has been there since the 20s. You can't push mow it. I mean, you can, but you almost have to tie yourself to a rope so you don't fall down the hill. We have a 4-wheel drive robotic mower, and it is mowing the lawn, and it looks great. So.
And is it daily, weekly?
Daily. It mows every night.
And so it takes tiny little clippings, like you said,
an eighth of an inch.
That's crazy,
it's all
right?
adjustable, and there's an app, and it will tell us.
I need a barber like that.
So that's the technology. It's all going electric blowers, electric mowers. California has passed some stringent legislature recently, and so the whole industry is moving this way, and not with all these robotic mowers, but one of our partners has 300 of these in Chicago.
Jeez.
And so it's happening, and it's going to happen, and the clients are loving it, and we are going to really integrate this technology because it think about it. We're in a labor crisis.
Right.
You can't go anywhere. Starbucks is closing it. Yeah, they don't have people, baristas. They don't.
And the people that are there want to unionize.
We can't get enough workers to work.
Right.
And we are paying all-time high rates, and we cannot go fast enough and put these gardens in or maintain them.
Right.
And so if we can move men or our workers in our team from mowing the lawn to taking care of the horticulture and the shrubs and the rest of the gardens are going to look better.
Yep.
And they're going to be looking better than our competition.
Right.
And
the
next door neighbors.
Less cost.
And at the end of the day, it helps the environment too.
Yep.
We're being sustainable.
It's amazing.
So and tell us about the blowers.
They're going to
go
electric.
About the blowers,
yeah, they're going to go electric.
So they're going to be quiet.
Quiet. Yeah.
Wow.
Everybody hates the noise.
Architecture.
What's happening in architecture? Well, there's a
think-
lot happening there too. I mean, like I'm involved with Habitat for Humanity, and we're working on, we're finishing up the first 3D printed house. And so there's a lot of great technology. We're doing a house now where all the walls are built in panels. They built all the walls in the shop and then brought them up on a truck and assembled the whole house. And this is a 12,000 square foot house in PV. Assembled the whole house in virtually 2 weeks. And as soon as it was framed, it was sold. So
We're
waste.
We're working on the house with
Wait.
you.
Yeah,
We just met with the clients. Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
so
The new owners.
you mean literally they have models that are...
They basically just made all the panels in a shop to match up with our design, put them on a trailer, and they're all stacked in order. So when they take them off the trailer, it just builds the whole house. They built the house in like 2.5, 3 weeks, 12,000 square foot house. So I mean, things are changing, and the technology is changing. This 3D printed house is amazing. How they did that, and
Yeah, I saw that.
there's just a lot of things that are going to change. I mean, when you think about it, we've been building with 2x4s and hammers and nails for what,
Yeah.
2,000 years.
Yeah.
It's like, we've got all this technology, but none of it's being applied to the building industry. You know, it's like we got to start thinking out of the box a little bit. So I want to make another quick transition now. You know, we got the metaverse coming. This wasn't on my questions here, but I really want to do a metaverse house with you guys. Okay?
Interesting.
I know Donna's like, what the hell is this metaverse stuff? So, but anyway, the four of us are going to do a metaverse house. So it's a complete house in the metaverse. Doesn't exist, but it's going to be a Vallone, Berghoff, Candelaria, Spitz metaverse house that people can buy it, you know, and we'll house it with beautiful furnishings that Vallone's picked out, and we'll get a cut from every couch that's sold out of our metaverse house.
That's right.
How's that?
I mean, I
Don't know quite what to say about that one, Don.
I don't know what that means.
Well, we'll explain it to you. Don't
Okay.
worry. So you guys are the epitome of the design industry in Arizona, I think. So anyway, you guys have been at this a long time. How do you stay fresh, and what do you do to deal with the pace and pressure? I mean, I think we're all working our asses off right now, right? I mean, we've been as busy as we've ever been. Do you agree?
Yes.
Absolutely.
How do you
Yes, absolutely.
depressurize? What do you do to relax, Donna?
You know, I really think that if you love what you do,
It's not work.
It's not work.
We try to convince ourselves of that, right?
I'm pretty cool about that.
You love what you do.
I love what I do. I'm not really a stress person.
You're not golfing
know.
or
No. Well, no, that's not my thing. No.
Wally.
I
You get
just
on
love
you
my
get on your
whole-
boat.
I get on the boat and enjoy the wake of the water, the skiing.
That's your
But
refresh, right?
It is definitely a refresh. But I will say this, Donna, I still love coming into work. I still love
too.
looking at a set of plans and just tweaking it ever so slightly. I still love the high of presenting to the client
I do
and
too.
asking them their personal lifestyle. And is it a family house? Is it just the two of them? I still love when the client finally moves in and we're usually the last person
it's
standing.
like giving birth. I mean,
Yeah.
honestly.
Can't relate to that one, but I think
No,
I know where you're coming
no,
from.
it is.
Well,
yeah,
Jeff, when
I
you
think-
see your projects done, Donna, when we see the projects done and the client is just having the first week in the house,
Yeah.
it's a high.
Yeah,
You know,
Total high.
What we do
I
is
agree.
we're fortunate to love what we do. We're fortunate to have clients most of the time that appreciate who we are and what we bring to the table.
I always tell
So-
people, you know, I tell my employees, I said, you know how lucky we are to be in the career we are? Think about this. You work your butt off, you design a house, it gets built, and you might be able to drive by and enjoy it for 20 years.
You
Okay?
will drive by it for 20
Yeah.
years.
Imagine if you were a tax preparer. Oh, you know, that was the best tax return I ever did. You got to go see that thing. That is just amazing. Or, you know, a dentist. Oh, that kid's teeth. Those braces were those are the best braces I ever. You know how lucky we are to have that opportunity to see our work for years and years and years and years.
We're super blessed.
Right?
We really are.
Drive
We
by
are.
the Spire every day.
Yeah, that's right.
For
See
sure.
that project every day.
And I think how lucky we are to have the clients we have.
Yeah.
Like, you know, we start taking for granted that we fly on private jets, and I'm thinking, how many people in the world get to fly on? You know, I mean, it's just we're so lucky.
We are. We've got
And
to
they
experience
become
things that most people
personal
never get to experience.
friends and
Yeah.
yeah.
That is very cool. I know we've
So-
all dealt with employees we trained
Oh.
and mentored, only to see them go on their own. I would like to know your thoughts on this.
Okay. I want to speak to this because for years, and I remember Wally or Jeff would call me and, you know, the F word would be like flying. I don't know, sounds, and I totally related to that because I had the same. So they knew that they could call me because we all trained.
We've all been there.
We all trained.
Trained our
Yep.
competition.
Young talent, and it was like, holy shit, you know, like, this is so upsetting. So I would be angry, hurt, mostly hurt, for a long time after they left. And finally, I don't know who it was, but they said to me, wow, congratulations. You have trained and launched so many talents in your lifetime. Aren't you proud of them? And I'm like, "Oh, no, I kind of hate them." but, but, but the more I thought about it, I thought, maybe I should think that way instead of being upset
bitter
and
about
angry
it. It's
and
just part
bitter.
of the whole process.
Yeah.
And
I should
there's
think,
a picture
okay,
right there of George
I did
behind
a
your
good
shoulder.
job of, launching these young talents, and they're doing well.
Yep.
And so I got this different perspective of the kids that left me.
Yep.
But I still like when Wally or Jeff would call me. I mean, I got it because you were so hurt that you
That's
loved
never
this
easy.
kid. You thought they had great talent.
Well,
and
you've seen them from the beginning, and you watch them grow with all your tutoring and learning and the clients and experiences, and then they go off on their own and take everything that you train them to.
And some of the clients, which of course, but you same.
Yeah, no, we've all
we've
been
all
there. We've all been there,
all
right?
four of us in this room.
So
What do you
guess
think, Jeff?
The bottom line is I've tried to have a new
Perspective on it. That's good.
Yeah.
I think I've always said this, and I still say it, is that if someone wants to walk in my shoes, I welcome that, because I think it looks easy, and it's not. And if you want the headaches I have, and you want to deal with all the employee issues and the stress, and then I think everybody has the right to become an entrepreneur and try it, you know, and I respect them more for it. So go and do it on your own and hang your shingle and go for it. I think there's a way to do it, though, and I think there's a way not to do it.
Right.
And that's the difference to me of a person's true character.
Yep.
If someone is being conniving, or they're lying, or they're trying to cheat, or they're telling people things in the industry that aren't true.
Right.
I think that's sneaky, and that's showing their true character.
Yep.
But I think I would embrace and encourage anybody who wants to go on their own and be entrepreneurial to do it.
Yeah.
And that's been my, yes, it can sting, but I encourage it because it's not easy. It's not easy at all, and especially to be doing it at the pace and the level. And we've seen a lot of designers peak and then flame out, or you wonder where they are today. And we were talking about some earlier, like, where did they go? Well, I don't know. Where have they been? You know, you don't know where they've gone off to, but to stay like we have and constantly every day perform, you know, it's like an athlete. It's like Michael Jordan never retiring. You know, if you're, and that's the only sports analogy I'll give.
Tom Brady's
I'm
pretty
not,
good one.
there you
Although
go.
he just retired. But
He just retired, but I'm not a sports guy. But it's, you know, people, it's hard to perform at the level that Donna does, or you do, or Wally does, time and time again on every job, and to
Every day.
reproduce it and go.
Yep.
And so if someone wants to do this, go do it.
Right. So another thing that we're dealing with is transitioning of our companies. I mean, we're all getting older, and you know, I've set up a buy-sell agreement with Meredith and Evelyn, and you know, Vivian earlier this year, but then she left and went on her own. So even though you have this whole mechanism of doing it, doesn't guarantee it's going to work out perfect, you know. So we brought Tim Mathewson on now as a partner, so which is great. Tim's been with us 16 years.
Talk to him today. He's a good guy.
He's a great
He's
guy.
a great guy.
So, you know, we're all in this mode of how do we either sell our business or get out of our business or transition where we can actually retire. But, you know, I think all of us love what we do, so I don't think none of us are going to just stop. But I know, Jeff, you just have some things that have been happening. So tell us about that a little bit.
You know, we were fortunate to partner with and merge with a group out of Chicago, Mariani Landscape, and we've been sharing clients. A lot of clients from Chicago come to Phoenix in the winter, and we've met Frank Mariani years ago, and we were able to do a partnership. And really, Frank had this vision to create a company that would group the best in class of high-end estate residential companies, landscape companies, all across the country. And so far, it's been a wonderful script he's written, and we joined them at the end of the year of 2021. So we started this new year with Frank and his team, and I think it's I think it's wonderful. And so essentially we're able to support clients from coast to coast. Our employees have a career ladder that is unlike any other landscape architecture or design build company. We're going to be able to have better practices from contracting and maintenance. We are, from simple things like being self-insured and being able to save money that way, to have buying power that we're buying groups, or even we have a fleet of over 100 trucks, and if we need to get a truck, we can buy at deeper discounts. And I have employees and team members who, like, their husband will get transferred to Atlanta, and now we will have a group maybe in Atlanta that they can work for. There. And so it's really one big family, or a best of brands in each market. And I think it's very exciting that this is happening to our residential market. And Frank Mariani had this vision, and we're excited to partner with him.
That's awesome.
And do this together. And I think to be able to, Mark and I are working on a home in North Carolina.
Yep.
We're working on a home in Kansas City. And so now I can design these jobs, and essentially the theory is be able to hand over to someone.
I've got one brewing in Jamaica too. So.
Okay. So in Jamaica, we could hand it over to our affiliate there to install it and maintain it and work. And in a way be a concierge for these clients who travel and have multiple homes. And these clients, they're very sophisticated. They stay at the best hotels. They fly private. They have a wonderful life. And why can't no one has really been able to put in our space, in the landscape space, we take care of a home in New York and they have a home in Scottsdale. It should be at the same level of consistency, in the same practices, in the same billing,
systems.
in the same systems. And that's what we're doing.
That's
so
awesome.
It's a wonderful thing. And we're super pumped.
Yeah, we wish you the best.
We're really
on that.
excited.
That's very cool. I know, Wally, you've been working on different ideas for transitioning. It's hard, isn't it?
It is very hard. I have the most loyal, amazing team on my staff, from 30 years to 17 years to 15 years. There's a loyalty that I've gotten from my employees, and an honor and respect of me that I want to be able to impart within them. I don't ever plan on leaving them or shorting the situation for anybody. But, as Jeff and I talk occasionally, it's really a people business. What we are in is we are in the business of having people represent who we are.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I try to go to every client meeting, and yes, I'm always standing there at the end. But the company and the type of work we do, and the same with you, Jeff, it's about, you have an amazing guy named Mike. I love what he does for you.
Yeah, Mike's wonderful.
Yeah, I've never heard the word no come out of his mouth when I'm in a meeting with either you and him. So, but to answer your question, I still love going to work.
Yeah, I think we all do. That's our problem.
I still love sitting down and coming up with the decorative fixture package or the architectural package and putting it all together. The challenge I think that we all face, guys, is not just that we're getting older, but the stakes are higher, and the timeline seems a lot more stressed. You got a builder that's got a schedule, you got a client that wants to move in, and our job is to accommodate those needs. And even though things happen during the pandemic and the shipping and the limited ability to receive your resources, we still have to make that schedule.
That's right. And you deal with furnishings. That must be a nightmare right now.
No, it is. I mean, yeah. The lead times they've tripled, quadrupled. And, yeah, I was just thinking about, so I told all of my young people, like, I will stay as long as I feel that I can contribute to what you need, give you the knowledge and experience, and you have the technology to move on. But once I feel like I can't do that, then I'll move on.
Yeah, you have a great staff. I mean, all of you do. You guys all have great people that work for you.
But I think that we can all offer something so great to the young people taking over our businesses. And, you know, and it's good for us. It's good for them.
Yep, for
and
sure.
we all love what we do. So.
Mark, when you started, Donna, Jeff, it was a different business. It was a different industry. It was different poker. Today, the equipment we work with, the sophistication of the clients is unbelievable. You know, we work with world travelers.
Oh, and then the communication. I mean, when I remember I worked for George, we'd send a letter. You know, you'd have 3 days to get the letter. You'd open the mail, and you go, "Oh, I gotta call Mother's Day because you know that happened 4 days ago." Well, now it's seconds. You know, and I don't know about you guys with email, but I tell people if you need me to do something or you need to reach me, pick up the phone or text me. But don't send me an email, because the email I use for data and backup and all this, but I might not get to it for 2 or 3 hours, 2 or 3 days. I mean, there's just a plethora of emails. I mean, do you guys have experienced that?
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's
for sure.
ridiculous,
And
big
right?
time.
There was a recent study that said an email can go for days, maybe weeks before it's answered, but a text will go 3 minutes.
Yeah, 3 minutes.
You
Send me a
know,
text.
so
Pick up
send
the
a
phone.
text,
The
yeah.
phone
That's
works great. I love the phone.
I say I can't do social media because I can hardly keep up with the emails. I mean, no, it's true,
Yeah.
you know. And my young employees go, how did you ever do it where you were handwriting purchase orders?
Oh, I remember
You
the
know,
first
the only
fax.
thing
You
we
remember
had
the
was
first fax that
fax.
came
Yes.
through? I was
Oh.
like,
Yeah.
what
Oh.
the
Paper
heck
was
is
curled.
this?
This is
And then it would
so
fade.
cool.
They used to fade away in about 3 days. Like, oh, this is cool. No one was going to remember what the hell I said. But it's crazy, isn't
you
it?
know, I don't know the time, and we would go to the workrooms because, you know, I don't know how we did it.
But it is. There's
Is
so
it?
much information and there's so
Yeah.
much communication
Yeah.
that it's somewhat overwhelming, I think, sometimes. I mean, do you guys agree?
Absolutely. I have to, truth be told, I have to have two emails. One that my inner sanctum gets and one that everybody else
Yeah.
gets,
Yeah.
because
You can miss something.
You just can't get them all.
Yeah.
But the sheer fact is, when I want to talk to Jeff, I just call him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we do. That's
You know,
what
I'm
we
on
do.
the phone all day long. I mean, I think that's my tool that I'm not behind a computer doing emails or texts or I'm sorry, you know, CAD drawings and whatnot. I'm on the phone. That's my tool
Yeah.
because it's you have to communicate.
Well,
and-
there's
and
inflection. There's
Right.
voice. There's
yeah,
tone.
you need to right.
You don't have any of that in an email.
So
I
if it's
can read
talking
an
to
email.
vendors, if it's talking to clients, if it's talking to team members, if it's you guys, you know, and back, Mark, I was going to touch on or just add to.
Yep.
One of the things, there's other designers that we all work with, and it's so nice that any time of day, I know I could reach out to any one of you, and soon you will respond or return my call. And in most cases, it's not who benefits is the client,
Right.
because usually it's more work related.
Yep.
And not many other designers do that. And I don't know why there's walls or things in between or it's perceived. And I think that's why these jobs are always so good,
That's interesting.
because we communicate and
We're old school.
we share, and we kind of are old school.
Yeah.
And that's the way it was done years ago. And some
No,
of
and I see that a lot of times with my younger staff. When there's a problem, they'll write 4 emails, and it's like, you know what? Just pick up the damn phone. You
Right.
can solve this. You can solve
right.
this in 15
and think of the
minutes.
time that was spent writing the email. It could have been hours
Yeah.
writing the
So,
email. That
Jeff,
It
so
was
agree.
hours.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's transition.
And I want to say I'll
Go for it.
just touch on one other thing. I'll vent. This is
Yeah, this is
just
good.
Berghoff venting. I have there's a few different architects we work with, and they like to just use the tools of the day to almost do a mic drop. Like, boom, here's the house. It's all modeled. We put it to music. It's done. Okay, and that's a very effective tool.
Sure.
But that's not reality. The reality is embracing and bringing the client into what we do and explaining the passion and the romance of design and letting them actually be part
Right.
of creating their home.
Right.
Who's better to live and tell us what they want than the client?
That's totally been my
And
philosophy.
And
since
in a
day
way,
one.
it's you have to listen to what the client is saying. I can't design their home if they're not communicating to me and articulating what they want. And we've all, if they want me to design my dream home for them, fine.
Yeah.
But I want to design their home for them.
Right. Exactly
And so
right.
you can't just mic drop it. You have to take them on a process. And that process is, we start with these sketches and we develop the sketches and we get into design development and then we get to a model and then we can visualize all these things we've been talking about. But I think it's doing almost the industry a lack of justice, a lack of service by just coming in and going so fast into, I think it's cheating because sometimes these things can't even be built and they're half baked and they're not
real.
They're not real.
No.
It's metaverse, like you were saying.
That's a metaverse house.
It's a metaverse house. And I have to work with the land.
Yeah.
I have to work with the soil and the earth and the rock.
Right.
And
has to be real.
And it has to connect and be grounded.
Yep.
And that you can't not fake. Water is going to win. The site has to drain.
Yep.
Or it's going to flood. All these things. And anyway,
It has to work.
It has to work.
Not
And I
only has
like
to
to
work, but it also has to work for the client, like you said.
and I like to bring the client into our reality, our realm, into what we do, let them experience this and
let them be a part of the creation.
let them be they need to create.
Yeah,
Jeff,
that's
I'm
what I
going to
love.
just finish that. When the client doesn't make themselves available or respond back to the presentation that they can't seem to find the time to come into, they're never as happy at the end of the day. And then we stand there and they're sleeping in the house and their food is in the pantry and there's a disconnect and you would just want to say to them, I tried to call, I tried to get you in, I tried to come to you. So the most successful projects that the four of us have done, the client has been engaged with us. And I know it means a lot or asks a lot, and it doesn't matter who and how busy or how many companies they own. Just give us the time to present, give us the time to hear what you want and what your lifestyle is. We're here for you.
Yeah. So let's look ahead 10 years from now. Okay? Tell me what a typical day for Donna Vallone will be 10 years from now. 2032. It's 6 a.m.
Oh, my God.
You just woke up, Donna. What's your day like?
Hopefully I wake up. I could. Hopefully I wake up. I think,
That's step one,
my
right?
God.
As long as I wake up, it's a good day.
Feet on the ground.
Day's done. I'm already happy. Right? That's
So
very true.
If I wake up, I don't want to be in an old folks' home, but I hope I'm still engaged in design. I can't help myself. I want to be, what's her name? Iris Apfel or whatever, the lady who's 100 years old. Probably still coming into work, but if not, I don't want to be an old person in a rocker in an old folks' home. I could be looking down from heaven, which is okay. I've had a good life. I don't know.
I'll be looking
We'll
up.
just see. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Wally?
I'll be looking up. I won't be looking down.
Oh, wait. Does that mean you are devilish?
I don't know. I never want to stop doing what I do.
I know.
I never want to stop learning. I never want to stop growing within the industry that I'm in. I hope to be waking up either in Bora Bora, the Bahamas. Obviously, I like warm water. I like the beach. I love boating. But I have to have people. I am addicted to the energy and the crowd. And I truly enjoy the people that I work for.
You know what?
Cool.
I'm so glad you said that because when I got Mark's questions, and he said something about our team, and I thought, I know what the answer is to why people hire or love our team. And I think it's because what we share, the four of us, is that we love people. We love being with people. We love learning from our clients. And I really think that's the core of the four of us.
Yeah, we love it.
I
We
don't
love
know.
the
I
experience.
did, and I'm glad
Yep.
you brought that up because I forgot to say it.
Yep.
But that's what I think we are about.
Yeah, I won't
That
be doing
we
word
love
puzzles.
people, and I know that
Sudoku.
I am. I hated COVID because I couldn't be with people.
Yeah.
I love socialization.
Yeah. This podcast on Zoom would be totally different than the podcast we're doing right here with all of us
Right.
sitting in the midst of each other, right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
the same thing with the meeting, right? I mean, I love the efficiency of a Zoom meeting, but the
it's-
connection and the energy is totally different.
No. It's
Right?
It's lost.
It's lost, especially when you're trying to sketch
I-
something. I mean,
Yeah.
you do
agree.
great on the screen, dude. I mean,
but it's
your blue
not-
pens
no.
and your red pens, but
But I agree.
you know, it's not the same as when you're in
No,
person.
no.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's not the same.
Uh-uh.
So Jeff, what are you doing? Are you on a surfboard in
Yeah,
10 years,
I,
or what are you doing?
Well, I love the water like Wally. I think in 10 years, I love what I do. I'm going to be doing design for sure.
Yep.
I might be doing something a little different, but I think it will still be design related. And I don't know if it will be, I'm fascinated with, I'd love to do my own product design of outdoor furniture. I'd love to
Cool.
do a line of
There you go.
pots. I'd love to do, so I think
Keep 'em
I'm
down
going to
right?
incorporate,
Right.
I think I'm going to incorporate some of that.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know. I've always been fascinated with writing a book, maybe. You're writing a
Think
book
about
right
that.
now.
Yeah, my book's in
I-
publication.
I don't know if my book, I think my book would be, it's like what the gardener says or what the gardener sees,
Yeah.
and sometimes we're the first to know a lot of things.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly right.
So I've had a fascinating career in, but I also have this urge to I'm fascinated with wanting to do a home from start to finish, and just do my vision, and then sell it.
For yourself.
Sell it.
Not for me.
Oh.
No. Just to do it and develop it and furnish it and to do the garden and
As a spec home. Just let
like
it
a
come.
yeah, but yes.
Yeah,
It's-
but you could do
but
what
something
you
like
want.
you see in LA.
Right.
Like you see those homes. I think it would be fun to. I love the clients, but I don't always know down the road if I don't know if I'm going to be waking up and worrying about Mrs. Smith's red geraniums.
Right.
You know, I think
Well, that's why I like the Metaverse house so much. We don't have to worry about any callbacks. No roofs are ever going to leak. No
Yeah.
codes to comply with. We can do whatever the hell we want, and someone's going to buy it.
Yeah, and if my wife would be listening, she's gonna be, she's gonna be like, you're gonna be done. You're gonna be done, and we're gonna be spending time doing fun
Well,
things.
you know what?
The
I've
things
been-
she wants to do.
I've been
more than
blessed
what I
to
want to
design
do.
2 houses for you personally.
Yes.
And it was funny about I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months ago. I loved my Apple Watch. I wear my Apple Watch all the time, and it was the original Apple Watch. It finally broke, and then I remembered, well, Jeff gave me this watch. Let me go grab it out of the drawer. And I grabbed it and put it on, and it's just a normal watch. It's not an Apple Watch. There's no text coming through. And I really enjoyed it. The first couple weeks, I'm like, this is really, really nice. I'm really enjoying not being distracted by my stupid Apple Watch. And I wore it a few times, and then a couple clients, that are watch guys,
Yeah.
they looked at me and goes, oh, dude, that's really a nice watch. And I go, what do you mean? They said, Berghoff gave it to me. He says, let me look at that thing. And they look at it and go, that's an amazing watch. You know how much that watch is worth? And I go, no. And then they told me, I go, what? Are you kidding me? And I was like, thank you for the watch, Jeff.
Oh,
I don't
you're
think
welcome.
I ever formally thanked you for
Oh.
how nice of a gift this is.
Well, you've helped us for years. We're honored to live in your homes, and you've created beautiful things for us.
Yeah. So
And
we're all
it's,
lucky, right?
Yes.
I don't know what I'm going to be doing 10 years from now, but I hope I'm sitting right here doing a podcast comparing notes to what we said 10 years before and just
With this
going,
team.
wouldn't that be fun?
It
10
would
years
be
from now,
fun.
we'll do a
We'll
podcast
plan it,
and
yes.
We'll plan. We'll have Janice put it on the calendar. She'll remind us. I'm sure.
Valentine's Day
2032.
32.
Oh my gosh, wow.
Isn't that crazy? All right, so we went way over, which I knew we would, which is great because this has been so good.
But you can edit.
I'm not going to edit anything. This is all. I don't have to edit any of this. This is all fantastic. this is something that we're going to cherish for a long, long time. And I really thank all of you for doing this. It was fantastic just to be in the midst. I'm getting chills just sitting here, being around the three of you. So
I feel the same way.
it's just
The
fantastic.
love.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. So how do we find each other? Jeff, where do we find you on social media or on website?
Well, certainly you can follow berghoffdesign.com, and also we have an Instagram. But that's the best way.
Yep. What about you, Donna? Donna's like,
Pick up the phone. Call Donna.
ValloneDesign.com. You have
Yeah.
a beautiful
Yeah.
website,
Yeah.
right? And I
Yeah.
know you guys have your Instagram. I see it. I don't know who does it for you, but
Some people
some people
do
It's
it for me.
beautiful. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Wally, same thing.
Same thing. But truly, the best way to reach me is to call me.
There you go.
I will
No, I
always,
felt the
always
same way.
return a phone
Yeah.
call.
Yep.
Me
And
too.
I will take the time, quiet moment to respond to you, Donna. Jeff, my little rock star buddy here. We get to collaborate occasionally, and it's always a blast.
It's always a blast.
You know
know?
what? I agree. You spend all this time texting back and forth. Oh my God! Why don't we just pick up the phone and call?
As I
Yeah.
said, pick up the phone.
Yeah.
It works great.
Yeah.
So no, this has been fantastic. You guys are awesome. We'll put all the websites and phone numbers on our story notes so you can check it out. Give Wally a call. He'll return your call. But this was fantastic, you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Mark,
Mark.
for
Great
hosting us
evening. This was
tonight.
just
It's
a
a lot
great
of fun,
evening, right?
Yes. We need
Donna,
to do
what do you
more.
think of your first
I
podcast?
don't know. It was so long. I hope that people aren't bored.
I don't think they'll be bored. I think they're going to love it.
You need to edit.
No. This is very, very good.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, you guys.
I
Thank you
loved
so
it.
Thanks,
much.
Mark.
God, I
Thanks,
love
everyone.
you guys. It was
All
fun.
right. Bye-bye. Thank you, guys. We had so much fun both before and after the podcast, and it is always special when I get some downtime with these three. Such amazing talents and just all good friends for sure. We cannot wait to share some of the projects we have in the works, so stay tuned. We've got some amazing ones on the boards and in construction, so get ready. Okay, stay tuned as we have some fun podcasts in the works, including more podcasts with artists, chefs, realtors, and a couple of our Candelaria Design 2021 MVPs, so stay tuned. I also have a special podcast coming out next week, which will mark the 40th anniversary of my first day on the job at George W. Christensen and Associates, and I have some special guests in for that podcast who were there on that first day. So stay tuned for that. It was a fun one, and I can't wait to share it with you. We also have a few of our virtual cooking classes coming up probably in March, so stay tuned for those two. And okay, I want to say a big thank you for the subscribes and reviews. Please take 5 minutes to give us a review, and if you do, we will enter you in our drawing where you will receive free round-trip airfare for one of our Candelaria Design tours. Probably not in 2022, as they're all booked up, so you might want to get on board for 2023. We got some great trips planned there. Seriously, you cannot lose here, so go right now and give us a rating and review along with a subscribe, and then email or direct message me that you did so, and we will get your name in the hopper for this drawing. We do our best to inspire living in everything we do, from our podcast to our cooking classes to our tours, and of course with our Candelaria Design homes. Okay, have a great week, everyone. Let's stay safe, and let's all live our lives with love, compassion, grace, and positivity. See you next week. Because Inspiring Living is all about the people and the organizations that inspire us, we are excited to have Monogram Appliances as one of our sponsors. Anytime we do a new kitchen or a kitchen remodel, Monogram Appliances are what we recommend to our client. Their appliances are the definition of luxury, meticulously detailed using the finest materials and an ownership experience that is second to none. This is how Monogram is always thinking ahead and inspiring and elevating the kitchen experience. Because at Monogram, they don't just elevate one thing, they elevate everything. I want to say a big thank you to my good friends at Stockett Tile and Granite Company, where your project is our priority. I want to thank the Stockett team, along with so many others who contributed to the success of our fabulous demonstration kitchen in our new Candelaria Design office expansion. You will have to check out online our video cooking classes, and our kitchen is amazing. I've had the pleasure of working with the Stockett team for nearly 40 years on many spectacular projects, and trust me, they are the epitome of excellence when it comes to tile, marble, and granite work, bar none. Their skill and customer service is impeccable, and the bottom line is they are just good people. I have traveled with and dined with and just had good times, both personally and professionally, with Dave Stockett and his lovely wife, Becky, and they are the best. When it comes to your next tile and stone project, make sure Stockett Tile and Granite is a part of your team. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed our podcast. We encourage you to write a review, screenshot it, and share it with your friends. Please instant message it to me and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We thank you for listening, and we look forward to sharing more insights to inspiring living next week.